Good afternoon. Only 19 games played in the Football League yesterday, but I'm delighted to say that we've got 3 of them for you. And when you consider the conditions, well, you'll recognise just how lucky we've been. At Newcastle, where Manchester United were the visitors, well, there was snow in plenty. But of course, it takes more than that to dampen the fervour of the football fans in that area. And what about this? The bleak scene across the moors, that was the backdrop for the important second division match in Lancashire between Blackburn Rovers and Fulham. And we shall see how York City were warming up for their coming battle against Liverpool in the FA Cup. But first, Newcastle United against Manchester United, one of only 2 matches played in the First Division yesterday. And our commentator at St James's Park was Martin Tyler.
Tony Cunningham arrives in the First Division at the age of 27, signed this week from Manchester City, making Newcastle United his 5th league club in the last 2.5 years. Cunningham joins forces with Chris Waddle and Peter Beardsley in a Newcastle side which still has more trouble conceding goals than scoring them. But in the search for security, Martin Thomas is retained in goal, Kenny Wharton at left back, but David McCreary is missing because of a family illness, and Neil MacDonald steps in midfield. Manchester United are unchanged, with Steve Pears continuing to deputise for Gary Bailey. Paul McGrath wears Brian Robson's number 7 shirt, and Norman Whiteside preferred to Frank Stapleton as partner to Mark Hughes. And despite the weather, Brian Robson, and despite his shoulder injury, not passing up the opportunity to visit his family and friends in his native northeast. And behind him in the cap there, Jack Charlton, the Newcastle manager, and his brother Bobby is here as well in his capacity as a Manchester United director. Well, referee Mark Scott happy to start the game, but surely concerned as to whether he will be able to finish it. The snow has come late to the northeast, but it's fallen heavily in the hour leading up to kick-off. The visibility of the lines very important. And Newcastle United attack the goal to the right in the first half. The pitch underneath the covering of snow is soft towards the flanks, harder in the middle where some cross got at it. There's a strong wind blowing at Manchester United's backs in the first half. Norman Whiteside. Here's Malcolm Brown. Such an important game for both clubs. Manchester United really need to just keep winning matches to close the gap on Everton and Tottenham. And there's Breeze playing tricks there before the ball finally arrives safely in the arms of Stephen Pears. I think the only people in the ground who are warm are the players. Olsen. Piece of thinking and a quick piece of footwork by Arthur Albiston to make the interception. Defensive play isn't all about tackling. Albiston, his weaker foot, and Beardsley against Moran. Cunningham in the middle. Newcastle battling into this gale-force wind and forced the corner. Cunningham might have just sensed an opening for a goal on his debut as Beardsley got away from Kevin Moran. To take the corner. And Pears, a very difficult task indeed. The ball that was hit deep and was swirling all the time. Jeff Clark coming in strongly beyond the far post. Strachan. McGrath. Liston is clear to the left. Manchester United have 4 waiting for the cross. Right side. It's Beardsley working back. In fact, it's because of players like Norman Whiteside that Peter Beardsley didn't really get a chance at Old Trafford in the half-season he spent there between 2 spells with Vancouver Whitecaps. Here is Beardsley. Nixon. Waddle. Roda might try a crack from here. Forced away by Manchester United defending as a unit. Right side, as he spotted Strachan. Again, an advantage might have been played. Hughes was in possession. Strachan was free on the far side. But Whiteside had been hauled down by Roda. Moses. Hughes trying to screen it, and in fact turning. An excellent piece of technique. The ball bobbing up about chest height, whether it was miscontrol or deliberately lifted, Hughes still managed to conjure a shot out of nothing. In keeping with his performances that make him favourite surely for the Young Player of the Year. Kidman, but when you're settling on the ball, when you're playing against Manchester United, you can be sure that Remy Moses will be buzzing around. Moran just there as he was elbowed in the back by Cunningham. I think against Cunningham. Tony Cunningham was in the Sheffield Wednesday side that won promotion to the First Division last season, but was sold during the summer to Manchester City. Whiteside, and Hughes might reach it. Brave save, taking into account the conditions and the arrival of Hughes with boots flying. Martin Thomas had to time his charge off the line. Did it very well indeed. Waddle. And here's Beardsley. Bird's early cross, one for Cunningham to attack. Misjudged it. Back from McDonald. That might have been an attempted cross. But it was arrowing in towards the junction between post and crossbar until, in spectacular fashion, Pear's got it away for the corner. Newcastle suddenly picking up the tempo. Megson. Waddle onside. Cunningham again waiting at the far post. And Pears with handling to admire on a bitterly cold afternoon. Finally driven across, even with gloves on. McGrath several times in the first half has been able to stride through purposefully, and his pass trying to free Whiteside. He was settling, I think, most of the way for the corner, which he's got. To the half. Strachan's corner, and a quick one it was too for Newcastle. Roda dealt with it. Moran poised at the back post, and in he comes. So Kevin Moran was perfectly placed. The set piece paid off for Manchester United. Unattended, the elements will be against them. And providing the worst of the snow keeps off, one senses that there's a lot more football to be played in this match. The half-time at snowy St James's Park. It's Newcastle United 0, Manchester United 1. Manchester United grateful to their two central defenders for providing a first-half lead. Graham Hogg's flick at the near post met by Kevin Moran. And that's the difference between the two sides as the second half gets underway. Newcastle now have conceded a goal in each of their last 21 matches. Today, two of the less experienced First Division goalkeepers, Martin Thomas, and at the other end, Stephen Pears, before today, with just 3 First Division games between them. Certainly the better part of the afternoon, weather-wise, at the moment, although the clouds looking heavy where the snow is coming from. Hughes took the shot early and almost caught Thomas by surprise. Mark Hughes nicely found by Paul McGrath, and Thomas coming off his line had to drop quickly to his left. Cunningham. Beardsley almost there before Hogg. Cunningham wins it again. Right side. Just showed too much of it seemed, to Clark, but Strachan got the better of him. Only Hughes in the middle so far for Manchester United, and the absence of a third party was crucial. Olsen, I think, was a little latest to arrive after Strachan had got away from Clark. Lovely dummy by Beardsley. It's given Waddle a chance, and almost Cunningham as well. One would have thought that Waddle might have been going directly for goal. It flashed across in front of Cunningham. Side. Strength against the smaller man, Wharton. Strachan. Moses. And Strachan might take it up and bear down on Thomas. And Moses to what looked like an unattended goal until Thomas threw himself into the line of the shot. United felt that they should have had a corner. But Gordon Strachan, on his 28th birthday, almost with a moment to celebrate, and then Moses had the shot that appeared to go behind off the arm of Thomas. And Manchester United want to make their substitution, so it's Jesper Olsen, who has been under the weather, suffering from a stomach upset, and he gives way to Frank Stapleton with 14 minutes remaining. Nixon. Here's McGrath, who lined up with Stapleton, of course, for the Republic of Ireland against Italy. Stapleton quickly into the fray. Stop by Roden. McGrath. Hughes, right side. And he almost made a chance. Virtually out of nothing with some clever ball juggling. Not so much higher in the frozen areas centrally. Waddle. Now McDonald. In comes Cunningham. And Warren went for it. That's played back by Malcolm Brown. And Manchester United got it off the line. Would have been an amazing goal. The problems really came when Moran, and not the goalkeeper, went for the cross. Pears was out of position. And Kidman was right on the line in the nick of time. Hughes pulling away at Rovers' shirt. Take the free kick quickly. Time is of the essence for Newcastle. Up in the air from Wharton. Cunningham disconcerted Moran. And Beardsley! A clinical finish. Cunningham played a part. Although it came probably off the head of Kevin Moran, it was Cunningham jumped it up and settled the central defender, and Beardsley, after a clever shimmy, buried it in the corner. That's the aerial threat that Jack Charlton was looking for from Tony Cunningham. And that's the impish skill of Peter Beardsley that Manchester United let go. 9 minutes remain. Cunningham again. And every prospect now of a real finish. Waddle. Real pressure on the goalkeeper, except the position of the ball. So Peter Beardsley wraps in his 12th goal of the season, and I doubt if any of the previous 11 have given him greater satisfaction. And St James's Park, which has been cold and quiet, is alive now. And Manchester United have lost the lead again, away from home. Beardsley, really in the mood. Certainly deserved his goal for his earlier enterprise. Brown and Cunningham, beaten to it by Pears. It's a juddering collision, felt by both players. Impact, hard ground as they both fell. No fair weather supporters these in the northeast. Marvellous crowd of over 30,000. As the final whistle goes, and Manchester United have let slip a lead away from home again. Peter Beardsley, ironically, their former player, equalising 10 minutes from time. The goal on the stroke of half-time turned in by Kevin Moran. So Manchester United really need to win matches to concentrate their championship challenge. And Newcastle need to win them, particularly here at St James's Park, to pull away from the relegation area. But in very difficult conditions indeed. In the end, a fair result. Newcastle United 1, Manchester United 1.
Well, in fact, Ron Atkinson regards that as a point won and not two lost. But there's no escaping the fact, as Martin says, that yet again, Manchester United have surrendered a lead. That point takes them one closer to Everton, of course, but that's one more game played. United the only leading team in action yesterday. All right, coming next, Blackburn and Fulham get to grips on a difficult pitch. And the match with a penalty in the very first minute as Cambridge faced York City after the break. And welcome back. And now for a moment we go into the third division for Cambridge United against York City. These are certainly exciting times for York, pushing for promotion, winners against Arsenal in the Cup, now with the prospect of a visit from Liverpool in the 5th round next week. I suppose Cambridge could do with a bit of that right now. They've won only 3 of their first 25 games. What misery then for their manager, John Ryan. We had asked Peter Brackley to look after this one for us, but poor old Peter got stranded in the snow yesterday, and so our athletics man, Alan Parry, came on as a sub.
With Cambridge United's recent form, they could be forgiven for not wanting to play. But even manager John Ryan joined a team of volunteers who worked through the night to clear 7 inches of snow so that the game against York could go ahead. Ryan wants no repeat of the joke that his best spell as Cambridge manager was the 2 weeks they didn't play during the recent freeze. But bad results have made him realistic.
We've got a very young side, very inexperienced side. They're learning their trade. I'm learning my trade as a manager here. And we aren't quite good enough collectively to win games.
But Cambridge were good enough to win against Peterborough on Tuesday in the Freight Rover Trophy. Only the 7th victory in Ryan's 45 games in charge. Could he motivate them again?
Got to approach the game the same way as against Peterborough the other night. If you show the same commitment, the same aggression, the same passion, you'll beat this lot. If you don't, then you'll struggle.
And struggle they did, Cambridge conceding a goal as early as the first minute, when York in the white shorts were awarded a penalty when Martin Butler fell after Keith Osgood's challenge. John McPhail took the kick, and Cambridge were in a familiar position, a goal down. Cambridge's young team, with 7 players under 21, staged a recovery, but they were still 1-0 down early in the second half, when Mark Cooper's fine run almost brought an equaliser for Andy Sinton, who finally hit the ball wide. But York was soon back in control, and number 8 Dale Banton, once a West Ham player, brought the best out of Cambridge's goalkeeper Keith Brannigan with this powerful shot. York inevitably increased their lead in the 74th minute following a corner, Butler's header being helped on by Ricky Sabragia to make the score 2-0. In fact, it was corner kicks which proved to be Cambridge's downfall. They conceded a third when a half clearance was met by number 6 Sean Hazelgrave, the former Stoke player, his shot rebounding kindly for Banton to make it 3-0 with 9 minutes to go. And it was Banton again who scored York's 4th from a very direct move. Goalkeeper Mike Asprey's long kick. Then watch out for a neat layoff here from Butler. And finally, it's Banton who nets with an accurate shot. And that gave York a 4-0 win. The perfect morale booster for their FA Cup tie against Liverpool next week, as the York fans cheekily pointed out. But for dejected Cambridge, another defeat. Relegated from Division 2 last season, now the prospect of dropping into Division 4 looms large.
Obviously, we're favourites to go down because of our points. Sheer mathematics says we must be favourites. But if we do go down, it may be the right time to sort of regroup and strengthen our squad and build a good platform so that we can get back in the 2nd Division again and perhaps have 8 or 10 years in it. It will be a terrible thing for the club, but it won't be the greatest disaster. I was at Sheffield United the year they got relegated to 4th Division, and for days people were going around crying and beating their breast. Look at them now. They've come straight back through.
Yes, tough old times for Cambridge and John Ryan, but York, as Alan said, tuning up nicely for that cup tie against Liverpool next week. And Blackburn Rovers have got one to look forward to as well in the 5th round at home to Manchester United. Yesterday, though, Fulham were their visitors as Blackburn set out to maintain their promotion push. Well, Blackburn were able to bring full-back Jim Brannigan back to the side. He collected a knock during the cup victory over Oxford United. Jimmy Quinn's the man in form, though. He scored the winner against Oxford. Indeed, he's got 4 in the last 3 games. Well, Fulham also welcome back a key defender, Paul Parker, who's recovered from injury. Gary Elkins will be at left-back, with Cliff Carr, who normally plays as a full-back, pushed up front. Their goalkeeper is Ian Hesford, on loan from Sheffield Wednesday. And the referee today is Bob Nixon from the Wirral.
So it's Fulham then, in a changed strip of red, who kick off attacking the goal to our right. Fulham, they've won only one of their last 5. Their push towards the top has faltered a little bit, but certainly not Blackburn's. Beaten only once in their last 15, and Glenn Keeley having difficulty turning on a very hard pitch. Just that little sprinkling of snow on it. On a really bleak and bitterly cold day with the wind sweeping off the hills and snow flurries too. All back with Terry Gano. Elkins for Fulham. It's for Zakala's header. And Brannigan. And Hopkins for Fulham gets it back to Hesford. Senior battling with Keeley. And battling unfairly to give Blackburn a free kick. Former Birmingham City man, Mick Rathbone will take it. Glenn Keeley's got up for this one. But it was the head of Paul Parker that got it away for Fulham as far as Noel Brotherston. Rathbone once more. And scored. A good save there by Hesford from Miller. Miller really darting in there. On the blind side, on the far side. A header there. Puts Miller in possession from Thompson. There's his cross coming in. Quinn! It's there! Jimmy Quinn! Just over 13 minutes gone. Jimmy Quinn gets his header in. Hesford will be a little annoyed with himself for allowing it to creep through, but he puts Blackburn Rovers into the lead. Well, what a remarkable record Jimmy Quinn setting up now. 2 goals in the cup against Portsmouth. The one that beat Oxford. The one that got a point at Wimbledon last week, and now the one that puts Blackburn ahead today. Brannigan, again a very direct ball forward, but again not measured enough to give the running of Jimmy Quinn a chance. Hopkins. Not a place to be taking liberties. And that's just what they've done. And there might be a chance yet for Blackburn. Thompson stopped only at the very last. Rossignol. And it came off Glenn Keeley for the Fulham throw. Paul Parker with the kick. With the throw, rather. Rossignol. Marshall. Back heel by Colin Randall. Lewington, Locke. Houghton. That's a nice little ball. Can Carr get there? No, Fazackley again doing a good, steady job at the back. There's Barker. Again the long ball. And again Quinn is after it. And Hesford outside his penalty area. Presenting Blackburn with the throw. Blackburn now so often seeking to profit on that ball played directly forward there. And Keeley with a header. Miller. 5 minutes to half-time as Hopkins comes forward now. And Houghton is onside. Can he get there first? No, Geno with great determination made sure he was first to it. But Houghton with a chance to turn it back in once more. Rossignol with the jump, looking for the header. But Fazackley got it away. It's Fulham's throw with Lewington. Parker with the cross. Keely's header, not very far. Elkins trying to get in there. Houghton now. Onto the right foot. Marshall. Back for Parker. And here come Blackburn again. Thompson on the wall for them with Miller outside him. Barker and Quinn in the middle. Miller looking for a good cross now, but didn't find one, but it comes to Brannigan. And now Miller with a chance of another cross. Oh, knocked back well. Well, Thompson appeared to have a great chance there after Quinn had knocked the ball back beautifully from the far post. And Hesford was grateful indeed to get down to that one. A good jump here by Jimmy Quinn once more. It looked a lost cause, but suddenly with that missed kick everything was possible. Fans, I think, would like a little more action from their own team, and they very nearly got it. Hopkins just stopping Quinn in the nick of time. Marshall, who's really battled well for Fulham this afternoon. But here come Blackburn again, this time with Brotherston. And Parker neatly back. Now can Carr get in there? We might! And he scored! Silence here at Ewood Park as the ball went from one end of the field to the other, and with Blackburn relaxing just for a moment, Cliff Carr just lifts the ball over the head of Geno, startlingly to make it 1-1. From one end of the field to the other, and there's little Carr going in. He normally plays at fullback, he's played up front before. And a lovely piece of finishing. Brotherston. Brannigan. Miller. Oh, it's a wild challenge there by Elkins, and Miller was a little too wily and gave him the slip. Rosinha. There's Keely planting it forward again. Thompson's getting in there. Locke's going to try and get it back. And Thompson! Dreadful mistake in the Fulham defence. Kevin Locke's pass back never really looked as though it had got the legs to reach Hesford satisfactorily. And Fulham, having fought to get back on level terms, have now presented Blackburn and Chris Thompson with a second goal. Now Barker, and now Brotherston. That's what the crowd like to see. Now, can he make something of this, Noel Brotherston? He's got Quinn up there with him. Keely's header for Blackburn. And Randall might have given it to Rosinha. Randall, no, the whistle have gone. A free kick to Fulham. Houghton. Hopkins galloping after this one, but it's the Fulham throw. Hopkins again. Could be more danger here. Rosinha! Oh, and he missed it! There was a great chance there for Fulham. It won't come any better than that, and he's kicking himself in annoyance, and I'm not surprised. The corner's been taken. It's with Locke and Rosinha there. In the end, couldn't find the shot that really would have counted.
And it finished 2-1 to Blackburn, but their manager, Bobby Saxton, wasn't at all happy. We can't get away with murder like this every week, he said afterwards. These dreadful performances have got to stop. And I suppose Fulham's Ray Harford can't be any happier. Fulham really tossed away the chance of at least a point. Well, their win puts Blackburn clear at the top, 3 points ahead of all their rivals. Oxford and Birmingham have got games in hand, of course. It was a bad day for Manchester City, beaten at home by Carlisle. Well, that's it. Don't forget, next weekend it's the FA Cup, and on the big match next Sunday afternoon, 3 fifth-round ties that have all the promise of being thrillers. I hope, at any rate, we've brought you some football today to warm you up a bit. Over 40,000 fans at our 2 feature matches in really bitter conditions. And overall, I think they got pretty good value for money. Good afternoon.